tell us what the record you had for the 49ers were after the regular season.
Oh, they're undefeated. So they're gonna be 19-1. Big Cock Brock's gonna get it all the way down and choke in the Super Bowl.
19-1, you heard it, and he also predicted there will be 2-0-17 teams, the Cardinals and Panthers. He's got the Cardinals winning the coin flip to get that first draft pick. All About the Balls podcast with Mark Davis, Chris Gemeinhart, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Welcome to this NFL season prediction and NFL award prediction episode of All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis, joined alongside Chris Gemeinhart, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. We are, of course, your four co-hosts on All About the Balls podcast. And boys, we had our fantasy drafts this weekend. Chris, I start with you. How are you feeling coming out of the weekend, our first ever Dynasty draft and our redraft league for All About the Balls Fantasy League?
Redraft league, Mark, I feel pretty great. I mean, I'm just glad that we were able to sit down and bust it out over the weekend. That Dynasty, hey, that was rough. And for you listeners, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to just post it up, but you can hear me like only a quarter way in and Luke saying, hey, we're not even halfway done. And I was like, no fucking shot. We're only not even halfway done. It was rough. I mean, I love my teams. I think my redraft league, that's definitely an injury concern. I have some old guys there that have a little bit of injury. So Mark also tried to rig it and tell me that I was pick 4 and not pick 3. So I was mocking pick 4 for like a couple months, but hey, at least it was better than worse, right? I could have been pick 5.
At least it wasn't like I was telling you, hey, you're pick 7 or whatever, or you're pick 3 and you're actually pick 7. So it's like a big, change. At least your draft strategy wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, I like my redraft. Like I said, injury, and then my dynasty, I'm liking where it's at. I just a little bit of quarterback concerns because we had a guy draft fucking 6 quarterbacks, so
and 6 running backs
that
too.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so
we might post it. Hey, cut us out. We learned that after 2 hours and 45 minutes, we start to slowly stop the recording. So I'm not sure how the recording. I didn't go back to listen to it, but. Luke, how are you feeling? I know we're going to talk about in a minute. Jonathan Taylor, unfortunately, is going to miss the first 4 games. Rumors he might miss the whole season. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right. I already knew going in taking Jonathan Taylor is going to be a risky pick, but you miss. Like, I don't want to miss up on him, and he played the whole season there in the 3rd round, so took him. But hopefully he'll only miss the 4 games, and then I'll have him for the rest of the season. Other than that, some running backs are going to be a little shaky for me, but my wide receiver pretty strong. So for my redraft and my dynasty, yeah, I drafted young, so this first year is probably be rough. probably checking a vanilla for year 1, but got a lot of rookies, a lot of young year 2 players. So hopefully those guys start to pan out for me.
And Doc, how are you feeling? First time in our league, and of course it's our first ever Dynasty League, so welcome to the show, buddy. How are you feeling after the drafts?
Oh, feels fucking great to be here. Redraft league, feeling pretty good. Can't go wrong with the Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry combo. CeeDee Lamb at the wide receiver. I like TJ Hockenson at tight end, but not really seeing too many tough holes offensively with the team. The redraft or the dynasty, definitely seeing some concerns. Happy with the wide receivers for a dynasty. I think I did real well with the wide receivers. Got a couple of young guy with Johnston and who was the other guy I picked?
Got Addison.
Addison out of Minnesota. So real happy with the choices that I made for wide receiver this year. The only true concerns that I think I have, just like Chris, I think there's some question marks in the quarterbacks. Maybe I should have taken that Trey Lance in case that goes down.
Yeah. I feel you, boys. I mean, Dynasty, I love my receivers. Running backs, I kind of shit the bed because normally in Dynasty League, based on, just Googling, they don't go high so fast. But, shout out to you, Franco. You fucking snatched every running back fucking known to man, it seemed like.
Including ones that don't even have teams.
Yeah, maybe the Kareem Hunt works out. Maybe the Colts get him now. But, yeah, he definitely grabbed some free agents out there. I in the Dynasty or the Redraft League, love my team. I know it's early. I'm projected to be dead last, but I don't care about projections, before fucking week 1. So, we'll see what happens. But we mentioned it, boys. And Luke, I'm going to start with you, like I said, because this just affects you and your fantasy purpose. How worried should the Colts be, and how worried should the fantasy owners be for Jonathan Taylor? He's missing the first 4 games, and he doesn't want to play for the Colts. So if he doesn't get traded, there's rumors that he might not play all year.
Yeah, I mean, first 4 weeks probably going to be a little rougher for me now because I'm pretty weak at the running back position with him not playing. But I think they'll get something figured out in that first 4 weeks eventually. So he'll be back week 5, hopefully. But either with the Colts or with somebody else.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know about other people's drafts, but I know we were talking about it, that JT, I mean, he fell pretty low under his ADP. So people weren't snagging him where he should have been. So I know, I mean, Luke you might have grabbed him a little earlier, not. I mean, there were still some good names up there, but like the biggest concern was just like, we all thought he was going to play regardless. We just didn't know for what team, but like today it was a big bullet to the mouth because now he's not going anywhere. He's not going to be traded, and now we don't even know if he's going to actually play. And he's out for the first 4 games.
We probably should have pushed this draft back a little bit. Literally the next day after the draft, he's not playing for 4 weeks. I'm like, well, fuck.
I mean, we all got that notification of the fake trade that he was going to the Dolphins. So I automatically was already thinking about it, been thinking about it in Dynasty, but I pulled the trigger in the redraft league, and I dropped Devon Achane because I didn't think he was going to get much playing time. Still think Mostert and Wilson would get hurt. He'll probably get playing time later on now that JT's not there. But I picked up Deion Jackson, the second string running back for the Colts. So he's sitting on my bench. He's ready to go whenever maybe he gets some chances out there in Indy. So you fantasy owners out there, you might want to look at Zach Moss when he gets back, Deion Jackson, Evan Hull. He's a rookie, I think, 5th round pick for the Colts. So all 3 of those guys are potentially going to be playing big time. Luke, sorry about your owners out there, the 2 that drafted JT early. If you drafted them middle rounds, hey, good for you. It's worth the risk there. But yeah, Luke definitely missed out on some good players that spot.
Just go ahead and drop them from your IR, Luke. Fuck it.
God, no, it's okay. I already have moved to IR, so I already picked up another player.
He's been sitting there since the draft.
Yeah. As soon as I get a little O on there, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna be my IR spot until he plays.
I wish ESPN would do the IR spots for suspension players, like the Sleeper app. They actually do, but Jameson Williams, he's on my bench for 6 weeks. I can't move him at all. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take that risk, and hopefully he balls out. But JT not.
He's on Luke's bench too, contributing to his league extremely low 112-point prediction or 119-point prediction for week 1.
Who's he play, Doc? Week 1.
Oh, you're talking about Dynasty.
Actually, Dynasty. Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty. Yeah.
We have some.
JT.
We already week 1 coming out of the gate. We have some big sack house competitions. I mean, I know me and Mark play in redraft, and then me and Doc play in Dynasty. So I mean, right off the bat, we have some sack house competition.
And Luke
it's going to be an interesting game.
I know it's complaining about week 13 in Dynasty. Luke plays me week 13, and he has nobody on fucking bye on his starting lineup. So
you're still projected to win, right?
Hey, I'm hoping that Baker's still playing by then, and then like he goes off that one game, and then because Aaron Rodgers would be my main starting quarterback for that week. But yeah, Luke's got me on a good week 13 for Dynasty. I'm excited, and shout out to Derek Jones too, because he's got the player nickname of the league. Deshaun Watson's nickname is the Massage God. Fucking classic Derek Jones. I love it. Love how Sleeper lets you play these player nicknames too. So, but boys, I think it's time. I think it's time to unreveal our NFL predictions. We're not going to go super heavy into like all 32 teams. We are going to just talk. We're going to show the playoff brackets for all 4 of us. You're going to see who we have, all 14 teams. If any of the boys want to discuss what happened, like why a team didn't make it, whatever, we can talk about that, and then we'll dive into our awards the second half. So I'm going to pull up mine, or Chris is going to pull up mine. I'll lead us off, boys. I'll start with the AFC because that is not the conference that my team plays in or Chris's team. I like to start with the opposite conference. You see it there once it pulls up. I am a believer in the New York Jets. I'm riding high with Aaron Rodgers, riding high with Dalvin Cook in the squad they got. I still think they have one of the top defenses in the league, arguably top 3, top 4. Yes, I have the Bengals win there as well. A close competition with the Steelers. Steelers only finished 1 game back. I have Duval County, the Jags out there, the 3 seed with the Chiefs. They take a step back, 12-5, but they win the West. And then the Bills still stay relevant enough to play the Chiefs. They upset the Chiefs in Kansas City. I have the Super Bowl champions going home early. I have the Steelers, like I said, 12-5, 6. I wanted to have them get a playoff win. If they were the 5 seed, I was going to have them beat Kansas City too. Pretty much I was having the first team beat Kansas City. And then I have the Cleveland Browns edging out the Baltimore Ravens at 11-6. The Ravens, Chargers, and Dolphins in my playoffs or my season go 10-7, don't make the playoffs. So the AFC is going to be stacked and loaded. And it could be argued they could all go there. But my championship game, I have Joe Burrow traveling against Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest of all times versus potential future GOAT as well. Joe Burrow falls short in his 3rd straight AFC championship to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers leads the Jets to the AFC Championship, boys, or to the AFC Championship. That's my AFC. I don't know what you guys are thinking there, but Jets winning the AFC, essentially.
No, I mean, I like the AFC. I mean, the biggest shocker I saw was the Bills and Chiefs game, and Bills beating the Chiefs. I mean, when we go down to mine, I know I was filling it out as I wasn't too high on the Chiefs this year, just due to, and I know Mahomes has proven us wrong year after year, but I feel like this is the year that it finally catches up. His offensive weapons, Travis Kelce can't do it all. And then questions with Jones on that defensive side, still holding out. Is he going to come back and play? I know he's missing the first 4 games. And I know just watching like a couple of their preseason games when they started, the defensive line struggled with not having that pressure for Jones, which opened up the passing game for the opposing team.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, I think Mahomes is good enough to still get them there. Until, I mean, he could prove me wrong. And if he proves me wrong, then I'll eat my words. I don't think they go to the Super Bowl. I really don't. But I think they're good enough to still get the division. I think LA can compete with them. I just don't think LA is going to get over that hump because it's going to be, like I said, so loaded in the AFC. But NFC, real quick, I'll just hammer through that. I have the Eagles at 1. I have the Niners at the 2 seed, the Saints at the 3, the Lions at the 4. I have the Cowboys at the 5, the Seahawks at the 6, and my Falcons at the 7. It came really down to the 7 between me and Doc's team, the Bears. I initially had the Bears at 10-7, but because of my bold prediction, I had to knock the Bears down a game. I had them losing to the Commanders. I re-went there, so I think it's a possible loss, but it doesn't matter. Both of us will lose to the Niners. I have a rematch of last year's NFC Championship. I have the Eagles versus the Niners. Same situation. It's in Philly. Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold, doesn't matter who it is. They're not going to get hurt. It doesn't fucking matter because the Eagles are going to win the NFC Championship. And finally, the New York Jets, first time in their history, will beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and this time will be in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts. Aaron Rodgers takes the dub, gets the MVP, also plays another year. So I have Jets over Eagles, Jets, Jets.
I mean, I'd love it. It'd be pretty much the same script that they wrote for Tom Brady to go over to Tampa and win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, hey, the NFL
there's a big difference. Tom Brady won in New England.
True.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers won at Green Bay too.
When? Back in 2011?
Oh,
come on.
Well,
he still won.
But he still won a Super Bowl.
He still won.
Yeah, he still won a Super Bowl.
No big deal.
Hey.
And it was 2010 as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the boys are thinking there. I know we have I think we all have the Jets pretty high, but I'm on the train. I think that the hype is there. You can go ahead, Doc.
No, I'm with you. All the stuff that I talked about, I didn't think that Aaron Rodgers would make him a contender, and going through the schedule and everything else, like, it actually shocked me how I had the Jets up on mine. I mean, I had the Jets very high up, just like you did. I didn't quite have them at the number 1, but they were definitely, in contention for it. And now that I'm looking at it, and we'll get into my bracket. We'll talk about it when we get into my bracket. Well, I'll hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I know because I've already seen all of it. I am, I think, the lone Jets guy, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with the Jets being my Super Bowl champion, and I think it's realistic teams. I mean, like I said, I know Luke's going to be a little irritated. I had the Ravens at 10-7. It's not like I disrespected them. I have them a winning record. It's just the AFC is so top.
I have them 6-11.
I think
you put the Browns in over the Ravens. Like, come on.
The Browns.
Deshaun Watson is going to be ass this year.
I have the Ravens.
And Deshaun Watson wasn't. Deshaun
He was
Watson
ass-
wasn't
he was
ass
ass
at the end
last-
of the year. No, he
He was
wasn't.
ass last year.
Stop.
He wasn't
was
that good last year, but the problem is the Browns had one of the better free agencies and drafts in the NFL this year. They had one of the best off seasons in general. The defense is still it's scary. Most of the defense is their defense is crazy good, and I think that they are going to incorporate Nick Chubb more with Deshaun Watson. They took away from him last year. We've already mentioned that episodes ago, but I think Watson and Nick Chubb, they're going to feed off each other. You get Nick Chubb going, it's going to stack the box, and then you're going to have more open looks for Amari Cooper and David Njoku and the boys out there in the receiving core. So
And
I'm
he doesn't
not-
have, and he doesn't have
Same.
Kareem Hunt to take the ball away from. Kareem Hunt's only got one hole for Freddie.
well,
I don't
I
care
mean, I
what
can say
superstars they have on their team. They're still going to fucking suck.
well, I can say same old Lamar, and he misses the last 4 games. So I mean, if that's why we're going for recent
Boom.
trends,
Hey.
That's what I
then,
think that's
then that's what I can do.
hey,
but
they
he was-
still
but-
make the playoffs. They made the playoffs without Lamar.
And they might make the
they'll
playoffs.
lose the playoffs without Lamar because he won't play in it again.
And I'm not saying they can't
It
make it. I'm
happens.
just saying I have them at 10-7, so it's a respectable record. I mean, you can make the case that they go 11-6 as well. You can make the case the Chargers or Dolphins do it. I don't even have Miami in there, and I know they're missing Jalen Ramsey, but they have a crazy offense, and the defense is still pretty good. So I don't have Miami in there either. The AFC is just so tough. There's going to be a couple good teams that don't make it. That's just the way the AFC works this year. But
I
with that
agree.
being said, that's mine, and we're going to move on to Luke Rule's playoff bracket. Chris is going to pull it up right here.
Let's go. So
Ravens.
similar to Mark, I have got the Jets at the number 1 position, getting that first week bye. I got the Ravens winning the North at number 4, and I got number 2 Chargers, 3 Jags, 4 Ravens, 5 first wild card slot. Got Kansas City, 6. I have the Bengals, then 7 the Steelers. So I also went 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs. So I still think it's going to be the most competitive division in the NFL. So with that,
agree.
I got the Kansas City Chiefs losing to the Ravens. I think Kansas City is not as good as they've been, and they're traveling to Baltimore. And I also have the Ravens getting their second win over the Jets. So 2 wins for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs.
That,
And I got the
that will
Chargers.
double his playoff wins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and he'd be beating 2 Hall of Famers too. I mean,
Yeah. So I like that move. But then I got Chargers, Steelers. I think the Chargers are probably going to play a tough game with the Steelers, but they'll pull it out. And I like the matchup with the Jags Bengals. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, and I think the Jags have a better team overall, and they'll beat the Bengals at home. So then I got Chargers Jags. I think Jags are just most talented team right now. I think they're going to beat the Chargers and go ahead and beat the Ravens in Baltimore. So that is my AFC. For the NFC, I got San Francisco number 1. Number 2, I got the Eagles. Number 3, I got the Vikings. Number 4, I got the Saints winning the division. Number 5, I got the Bears. 6 is how about them Cowboys? And 7 is the Lions. Got the Lions squeaking into the playoffs this year. The Lions got a pretty good team.
they have a shot, dude. Yeah, like you said, they have a shot. The
I
Bears and
like the
Lions
team.
both be really. Yeah, Bears and Lions gonna be competitive this year, I think.
So for NFC first round of playoffs, I got the Bears beating the Saints. I don't think the Saints really deserve to be in the. I don't think the NFC South really deserves to be in the playoffs at all. But so I got the Bears beating them. I got the Eagles beating the Lions. So it was nice for the Lions to show up, but round 1 they're gone.
Yeah, you got to play Jalen Hurts and the boys. So
And I
it's
got-
tough.
I got Kirk Cousins getting a big time win in the playoffs for 1 week as well. I got Brock Purdy getting it done in the second round over the Bears, Big Cock Brock. Then Jalen Hurts beating the Vikings. And I'm riding the Big Cock Brock train all the way to the NFC Championship. And I got the Jags pulling it out, winning the Super Bowl.
And Luke, before you carry on, tell us what the record you had for the 49ers were after the regular season.
Oh, they're undefeated. So they're gonna be 19-1. Big Cock Brock's gonna get it all the way done and choke in the Super Bowl.
19-1, you heard it, and he also predicted there would be 2 0-17 two 0-17 teams, the Cardinals and Panthers. He's got the Cardinals winning the coin flip to get that first draft pick.
Yep.
Luke,
I gotta be
interesting
honest,
bracket, though.
I think Luke needs a drug test.
I mean, I see
Gotta
some of this
mix it
stuff
up a
happening here.
little
Don't
bit. Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, how you don't
think,
have the Bears beating the Niners? I mean, come on.
I think Jacksonville is honestly, like I said, a sneaky team to get there. And I almost had them as a 2 seed. I almost did.
I don't think the Jags are that sneaky either. I think
they're
they're gonna.
not-
I think they're gonna impress some people.
They're not sneaky as in like they're like no one's talking about them, but they're Jacksonville, so it's like no one ever talks about the Jaguars. So
You
it's
just
like,
expect
hey,
the defense to stop playing at the end of the game when it matters.
yeah, it's like, hey, you still got Buffalo, Kansas City, New York, and Cincinnati there, and then like they're like the 5th or 6th team that people are still talking about most of the time. So hey, I like it though.
Okay.
As some
Hot take in
questionable
here.
games
I don't
there.
have the Bills making it.
Yeah, you didn't have the Bills there. You had
Yeah,
the
no
Steelers
Bills.
squeaking in. Yeah, like we both had 3
I
AFC
like-
North teams too.
I think the
I like Kenny
biggest
Pickett
surprise
here
for
too.
me is, I think the biggest surprise for me is the Ravens over the Jets in the divisional round.
And possibly over the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
I could see that because
I-
Kansas City is a much weaker team than they were. But you know, like everybody said, Mahomes just proved us wrong year and year again. That's why I didn't fall for that. I stuck with Mahomes even though I want him to fail terribly. More probably because of his wife and his dipshit brother. But I could definitely see Baltimore taking the game over Kansas City. But Baltimore over the Jets, I don't know about that.
New York
it's a
would be
short
rocking that.
distance. Yeah. Short drive for them though, so it's not a huge travel.
It's
Same
it's
weather
not about the
conditions.
travel. It's not about the travel. It's more about the crowd and like. I mean, Baltimore's a rowdy crowd too, but it's different when you're
Yeah.
the away team with that.
Yeah, the
crowd.
New York Jersey Jets.
Luke, what'd you have I mean, I know you ripped me for the Browns. Did you at least have the Browns good or like competitive at least? Were they like just kind of like a?
No,
I don't know if
no,
you wrote
I
down.
did not. I had them.
1-16.
I had them with 4 wins.
Holy shit!
Move on.
Well,
All
remember
right.
he's banking on Deshaun Watson being back in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson can find another masseuse, allegedly.
Yeah.
Good save.
God. So yeah. I mean, interesting bracket, Luke. I've written it down already. So, and it's definitely on the show. So there's no going back here. You sure you want to
Hey,
continue with this?
I still had Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 9+ wins in mine. I
Hey,
had
way
them-
to follow
He
through.
had to manipulate. He had to go back.
And
I had
and
them
like
10
Luke,
10 and 7
like-
for them.
And like Luke, I had the Cardinals as the first pick overall. I had technically Houston, and then we'll both be 1-16. Houston loses to Arizona, in my opinion, but Arizona has both the draft picks, so it doesn't give a shit who wins that game. Kyler Murray's gone. Here comes Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison. Cardinals start the rebuild. That's my bold prediction for the draft next year. But
Quarterback, wide receiver.
yeah, well, they definitely need it. I mean, they
Arizona needs a lot. Arizona needs a lot of things.
But if you start with your offense, you get the franchise quarterback, the franchise receiver, generational talent for both positions. You're starting to look good on offense, and you start building defense with money. Jonathan Gannon, he's a defensive coach, so bring in some defensive players on the free agency side. But, Chris, we digress to your bracket. You know, I saw it, and I was writing it down before the show, and when you hammer it, I'm going to fucking rip you. I'm just letting you know. I'm pre-warning you. There's a team in there. I'm fucking ripping you on. So you carry on with yours.
The disrespect.
Hey, so I mean, you can see it right here. I think Jags, Chargers make it. Bengals,
No
Browns,
Steelers
Chiefs,
either?
Dolphins. I mean, hey, I think y'all's division is probably the toughest one, probably in football, to begin with. And
It's
I
true.
mean, I know I had, and don't think I disrespected. I don't have records in front of me because I did this on my iPad, and I could have. This website is dog shit, and I could have ripped my eyes out how many times I had to like restart and refresh. And just going through it like first time and then getting to the final bracket and seeing teams in there that like probably shouldn't have been where they were, and I was like, hold on, I have to go back. So I mean, it was rough. It was rough, and it took a very long time to do this. And you know what? I'm kind of happy with where it's at. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I agree with y'all. I think Jags are a good team, and I don't think they're sneaky. I mean, I think people know that the Jags are good, but I mean, I think this is Justin Herbert's year.
Rematch of last year's wild card game
Yeah.
too.
Exactly. I mean, Jets, the number 1 seed, of course. I think A-Rod just gets it done over there. And then, sorry. I have like y'all's whole division, Luke, splitting, but the Browns just kind of squeaking it out, and then Bengals there, and then Chiefs and Dolphins, and I think the Chiefs beat the Dolphins. And then you can see it for yourself. The Jets, Chargers, Jets win that one. Bengals, Chiefs, Bengals win that one. And
Joe Burrow.
Hey, Joe Burrow's back to the Super Bowl.
Joe Burrow. I told you, and my bold prediction was right. I had Chris having the Bengals getting there. I was right.
It's there. I mean, I think the
I
AFC.
expect nothing less. I would expect nothing less. Even got the Saints at the 3 seed.
Yeah,
I
I like a
Saints at 3
lot
seed,
about
too.
your bracket except for the Saints at the 3 seed.
Chris, the one thing I have a fucking problem with
Playoff
is
game.
the one thing I have a problem with, I know you're going to rip through the NFC, is the fucking Los Angeles Rams as the fucking 5 seed. That's my
another
one.
big one.
That's
another
the
big
only
one.
thing. I can understand the rest. Like, but to have the Rams back in there as a 5 seed.
You're saying I need to be drug tested?
All right, so Luke and Chris will both be reporting for mandatory urinalysis first thing tomorrow morning.
So for the NFC now, the Rams
Needs
were
to
one
be-
of those. The Rams were one of those teams that like I finished and I saw them there and I was like, damn, how did they get there? I mean, it probably should be another team in there. But like while I was picking games, I had to just sit back and think like the Rams have like probably one of the best wide receivers. Matthew Stafford isn't bad. He's aging. There's a lot of old guys on there, but if like health
He doesn't even
isn't
know- He doesn't even know his
What?
players' names. Apparently his wife said he can't
Health
connect
has
with his
been an issue.
players.
dude, that's
You can't connect them. They just play on
Doesn't
their
even
phones
know-
too much.
He's like, what the fuck's? He's like, what the fuck's a gritty?
exactly. I don't know. I think they might be a sneaky team. I don't think they get in the 5 seed, but hey, like I said, this fucking website's dog shit. And
No, hey, you're the one that picked it though. You're the one that picked the games. The website's that picked the games
I
for
did
you.
pick the game, but like I wasn't going back to fix shit.
I gave the Rams 3 wins.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did
do
too.
agree with Chris that I
Yeah.
think the Rams are a sneaky team, but I think they're a sneaky team for the first overall pick more than making the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, Luke. I had them 3-14. I had them 3.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
I had them 2-15.
I had
I
them
mean,
being the
you
5th
can-
pick in the draft. That's where I
you
have them.
can you can clip it here. I think they have way more than three wins. Do they make
Oh,
the
I
playoffs?
know.
Probably not.
According to
but-
you, they
Oh,
have
man,
11 or
receipt.
12.
Get that man a
Hey.
receipt.
Yeah, receipt this. I think they have more than 3 wins.
I mean, I can see that.
But hey,
But
I mean the rest, Bears. I mean the Rams just show up. Okay, the Bears make it, and then Niners, Falcons. I agree with Lou or Mark. I think 2 NFC South teams make it. I think the Falcons are sneaky enough to get it. They have a great offense. They
I didn't
added
even
some
see the
key.
Falcons.
They added some key
Yeah.
defensive
They're
players.
number 7, Luke.
Oh,
Then Saints, Giants. I mean, I have the Giants beating the Saints when they come and visit, or when we go visit them. So I think we learn from our mistakes and we edge them out there. And then of course Niners, Eagles, and then the Niners making it to the Super Bowl and losing to, and then Big Cock Brock loses to the real Big Dick Joe.
God, it'd be the battle of the cock and dick. God, that'd be great.
Exactly.
Oh, and hey, by the way, boys, Daniel Jones is a free agent in our dynasty or our franchise league or redraft league. I'm sorry, he was
No,
dropped
he's not.
today. Yeah, he was. Unless someone put a claim on him.
I already put a claim on him.
I guess I'll put
Same.
$100 on him. Put $100, all my money. No, but
I
Chris,
didn't even see the money portion. I just went in and clicked.
I only
claim.
saw it in the Dynasty.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
it
see
should-
I don't see money at all for redraft because when I went in there to claim him, because I saw who was it, Riz dropped him for Hunt,
yeah,
and so
Yeah,
I
it
was I put a claim in to drop Pickett for Jones.
maybe
And
the
it
money
just
doesn't
said
start
claim.
until the season actually
Free-
starts.
Yeah,
I think there's just no money in this one.
no, there was. All right,
No,
but
yeah,
anyways, moving on. We have Doc next with the playoff bracket. Like I said, Big Dick Joe's finally winning his Super Bowl.
I know Luke's not happy with that though. By the way,
Hey, it is what it is.
he'll choke again.
I mean, the Bengals wide receiver 3 is better than the Ravens wide receiver 1. So
So obviously I
Yeah.
screenshotted this one on my phone. It did not look so hot. Chiefs are cut off at the top, and obviously they're the number 1 seed. They got the bye. I have Baltimore at number 4 facing Cincinnati at number 5. And I'm going Big Dick Joe because fuck Lamar, fuck the Ravens. And Big Dick Joe will own the Ravens. They're moving on to the divisional round against Kansas City. New York Jets, I got them high just like you guys do, except I only have them at the 2 seed. I think that I'm still, as much as I am against the hype train in Mahomes, like we said earlier, I mean, he still proves us wrong every year. He's going to find a way to get it done. As much as we want to say Kelsey can't do it all, Kelsey literally does it all every single year since Tyreek left. So I have them facing off against the Bills, who I think have a very disappointing season coming in at the 7 seed. I think that the Stephon Diggs drama is still going to kind of boil over as problems start to mount for the Bills. I think he's going to kind of get fed up. Jaguars, I think it was pretty across the board as a 3 seed for the Jaguars for all of us, if I'm not mistaken. So right in line with that. A very good team on both sides of the ball. Excited to see what they can do. And then I got the Chargers with Justin Herbert coming in at number 6. So I'm taking Bengals over Baltimore, obviously. Jets over the Bills. That's not even a question. Jags over the Chargers. Again, not even a question. I think one of the best games of the playoffs is going to be honestly, I think one of the best games of the playoffs is going to be Baltimore and Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's going to prevail. Chiefs over the Jets. Moving on to the Super Bowl. Going down now to the NFC. Like Chris, I did this a dozen times, and it was different every single fucking time, right? It wasn't like I did it and had Minnesota number 1 every time, but I just did it so many times that I wanted to rip my eyes out. I was like, fuck it, this is what we got. We're sticking with it. Somehow Minnesota is the number 1 seed. Looking at their schedule, though, I think that it's just the strength of schedule is what drives it. I have them at like an 8 or 9 game win streak right in the middle of their schedule that I think kind of drives like the bulk of their season. Bears coming in at number 5, Saints at number 4. I got the Bears over the Saints because that's just a no-brainer.
Which would, by the way, I was talking to Mark about it, is going to be a sneaky playoff matchup if it does happen because the Bears come to NOLA in the middle of the season and play also.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it'd be a
and that's a good game. I think I actually took the Saints in that matchup. I could be wrong. I can't go back and look because I didn't log in.
I had
that's the
y'all
thing with this
coming. I had y'all coming and beating us, so that was my argument to Mark when we were talking. Would be like the Saints would learn, but hey, it's playoff time.
I could
Go
see
ahead,
that,
Doc.
and I could see that. I could see that both ways because I don't remember what I had. I might have had the Bears coming in because after looking at how the Bears finished as a 5th seed, and they're 12-5, and I'm like, wait a minute, I see a huge improvement year for the Bears, but I don't know about 12-5. Although I think they can be sneaky good. But this is my hot take: is 3 NFC North teams making the playoffs. Detroit coming in as a 7 seed, facing off against the Niners, the number 2 seed. Whether 1 or 2, I don't think there's any question about the Niners where they finish. Eagles, I have them at number 3, taking on the Seahawks. I'm huge on Geno Smith in that wide receiver core. But obviously, Niners over the Lions. I mean, Lions, I think, show up and do what Detroit does and just fall apart defensively. I think that this, even if the Lions offense shows up, I think this becomes a fucking shootout and the Lions just win. But I think defensively, they're such a better team that I think that the Lions can't keep up. And then Jalen Hurts just coupled with everything that the Eagles are. I mean, the defense took a couple hits this year in the offseason, but I think that they still have enough to prevail over the Seahawks. I'm taking the Vikings over the Bears. I had the Bears splitting with the Vikings in the regular season, but Bears are gonna fall in Minnesota in the playoffs. That atmosphere in Minnesota during playoff time is just unreal. I'm taking the Niners over the Eagles because honestly, I don't think Jalen Hurts is all that he's cracked up to be. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback. I just don't think that the hype matches what his output is. And then I have Niners over the Vikings in Minnesota, and then Niners finally knocking the Chiefs off and getting the Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, I guess you are riding the Mahomes train, though. You have the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl, rematch of that 2019 Super Bowl, well, 2020 calendar year, but 2019 season, this time reverse. I'm just not sold, Doc, on the Vikings as a 1 seed at all. That's the only thing.
I'm not either. I'm not either. Don't get it twisted. I'm not. I said, what the fuck? I did this 10 times. I wasn't doing it again. Not gonna lie.
Hey, you're joining us for the drug test, Doc. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me what it
I mean, I had them at 8.
We can all hold each other's cups.
I had them at 8, 9. I think that the ceiling for the Vikings is like 11 or 12 wins, but I think the floor is like 7 or 8. So, and I sell the 8.
That's with 12 wins. That's the 1 seed with 12 wins.
I mean, yeah, I guess you have your NFC just a little lower. I mean, I had the Niners and Eagles at 13-4. But
The Vikings, Bears, Niners are all 12 wins. The Eagles are 11. New Orleans is 10. Which is funny how New Orleans is the 4 seed, Bears are the 5. The Saints are 10-7. The Bears are 12-5. I think I'm 12-7. Let me double check.
you had them.
Let me
Who?
double check here.
Who are you talking about, Doc?
Yeah, Saints I have 10-7, and the Bears I have 12-5. But they have the Saints as the 4 seed, and the Bears as the 5.
Well, because they win the division, so the division winners always get the first 4 seeds. This doesn't, like I said, you could be 8-1.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
Just the way it
That's
works. But hey, the 10-7 is still respectable. I mean, me and you were the only one with the Seahawks, by the way, Doc, in the playoffs, both as the 6 seeds. So
I think you're crazy to count out the Seahawks. What Geno Smith did last year with this receiving
I
core,
had him.
and now you're adding Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I had them there.
No, I'm saying I'm just speaking in general. I think you're crazy to count out the Seahawks.
I mean, I think Geno did what he needed to do to look great to get a contract. Let's see if he can do it a second year. You know, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks go out there and play phenomenal 1 year, get a big contract, and then shit the bed.
Not even get a big contract, just come out here, play that one good year. I've seen it with Chicago Bears quarterbacks every time we get a new one. But no, I definitely feel you. A lot of guys will come out, play that one great year, and then the expectation is up there, and I think the pressure starts to set in. And it's like they step out on that field as a kid, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is real. I'm really here." And then they don't know what to do with it, and they're just fucking Ricky Bobby up there. They don't know what to do with their hands, and then they just crumble.
Hey, but
Mitch Trubisky was one of the big ones.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not too. If Geno can do it again, then I'll start giving him some respect.
I think he can, though, because with a wide receiver core of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and now you've added Jackson Smith and Jigba. And honestly, Noah Fant is not a bad tight end. He's not top tier.
They just don't use
like
him
a Travis Kelce. Yeah, exactly. He's not totally utilized, but it's hard to really integrate him with that offense as a receiver when you've got such weapons in the wide receiver core. But I think with what they've got, and if you can incorporate Noah Fant, now you've added Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, you would have to be and I'll go back and say him again, Mitchell Trubisky. You would have to be a fucking Mitchell Trubisky to fuck this one up.
And Doc, if the Vikings do get that 1 seed and they do get to the NFC Championship, this might solidify Kirk Cousins coming back. I don't think the Vikings would want to let him go because he's potentially a cut bait next year. So that might keep him there in Minnesota and delay whoever's going to replace him. So
it very well could. You saw what TJ Hawkinson did in Minnesota last year. I'm only expecting a better season from him. Addison coming in, rookie wide receiver. You've still got Madison, Dalvin Cook's backup, who I don't think got enough credit last year for somebody that had Dalvin Cook in his fantasy team, and how many points Madison took from my fucking team by taking the touches away from Dalvin Cook. I think he's a phenomenal running back. His yards per carry last year were unbelievable for a backup. The defense is where all the question marks lie, in my opinion. Kirk Cousins, I mean, as long as he's not playing in prime time, is not a bad quarterback. So, I mean, I think a lot of the pieces are there, and in a NFC North that really could go either way. I mean, aside from Green Bay shitting the bed, because they're going to, we all know that, right? Because even if Jordan Love comes out, they don't have the weapons across the board on the rest of the team to really be competitors. The Bears, the biggest question for me is the defense, but they have a lot of weapons on defense that can still pull together. Lions, again, a lot of pressure coming off the line for the Lions, but it's that secondary where a lot of worries at and containing the points. But the offense is obviously there. And then, the Vikings, same thing, question mark on defense. But this division is a runaway. This division is up for grabs between Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago. Any one of these teams can step up and take it. And that's going to be my hot take. You said 3 NFC South teams. I'm saying 2. You said 3 NFC South. Wait, what did you say?
Me and Luke have 3. Me and Luke have 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs right now.
3 AFC North. Excuse me. 3 AFC North. I'm going 3 NFC North teams making the playoffs this year.
Hey, but that's our playoff bracket. So I mean, we have 3 AFC teams winning the Super Bowl. Chris has the Bengals. I have the Jets. Luke has the Jaguars, and Doc is the lone NFC boy out there with the Niners. So all 4 of us, different Super Bowl
shout out Chucky
teams.
D.
I love it. I love that we have different teams. And hell, it might not even be any of us that win it. It could be some other fucking team. So, but
we're probably all wrong.
We're all
Watch
wrong.
it be the fucking Pats.
Yeah, and then
watch it be the Cardinals. Kyler Murray come Cardinals hold it down until Kyler Murray gets back and he just fucking goes off.
Then Doc had the.
We only got to win 9.
I'd laugh if it was Carolina.
God, I
Shut the
laughed.
fuck up.
I laughed
That's
at
not funny.
Tampa, to be
That's
honest.
not funny.
But Doc had the Carolina Panthers
Hey,
as the one.
10 win in Tampa.
Doc had the Panthers.
10 win
10
Tampa.
wins.
Doc had the Panthers as the number one team in the draft, so that means the Bears would be the number one draft pick in the draft. And I don't think they're trading that pick this time. So
No, they're not. Definitely Carolina number one. Honestly, very lopsided divisions overall in my records. I have the Pats and the Rams 2-15.
yeah, Chris, that's not a
Texans,
that's not a 5
Titans,
seed right there.
3-14. Texans,
mean,
Titans,
hey,
3-14, and then Denver and Green Bay at 4-13.
I mean, if the Bears do end up with the number 1 pick, I mean, I could see them maybe trading down to at least
If Marvin
a number 2 or something.
Harrison's in the
Depending
draft,
on-
he's going to Chicago. He'll be the first receiver since
I
Keyshawn.
only see them trading down if they're going to a team that is desperate for a quarterback. Otherwise, and I'll
Exactly.
tell you what,
That's
I'll
what
tell
I'm
you
saying.
what, if Justin Fields shits the bed, if he has an absolute dog shit year, like just terrible control, accuracy, everything else, Bears might just step up and take Caleb Williams.
It'd be a Bears thing to
But
do.
if Fields
And, this is his year to prove it. Darnell Mooney is still a good wide receiver. Just had dog shit passing to him. DJ is in there. Cole Kmet, sneaky tight end that a lot of people aren't looking at as an integral piece of this offense. Tight ends have historically been integral to the Bears offense. Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson backing him up. Well, Devontae Freeman backing him up, but
Dante Foreman.
I think Roshan Johnson will step up. Yeah, Dante Foreman. Yeah, excuse me. I think Roshan Johnson will step up and kind of win that over pretty quickly. But yeah, Bears.
Yeah.
If Justin Fields doesn't perform,
That could be it. And
you got it. It's time to make a move if you got that capital.
And that is something that we'll be looking for in
Yep.
January and February. But boys, speaking of January and February, that's when they start. Well, February is when they announce the NFL awards. And I thought it was something cool. We can kind of give all our awards. So, Coach of the Year, comeback, both rookies, both Offensive Defensive Player of the Year, and of course, the most valuable player. So, Luke, kick us off here with your Coach of the Year for this year's season. Remember, Coach of the Year doesn't necessarily mean you have the best record. It could be like the Brian Daboll last year, a team that shot out of nowhere that didn't expect to be there. So it doesn't have to be the best team. But Luke, where are you leading to?
So I'm still gonna ride the Jets over here. So Robert Saleh, I think he's gonna win Coach of the Year. He's gonna win over a lot of hearts and minds on Hard Knocks. He's gonna have a fucking fantastic year. Huge turnover on the team. So a lot of young players, a lot of new players over there. So I think he gets them together. Got Aaron Rodgers leading the team. I think he gets it done. Coach of the Year. Made some big moves this offseason.
It wouldn't shock me at all. I'm going to go Mike Tomlin on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think going from 9 wins to 12 wins and my playoff predictions and like the standings, I think that 3-win jump is going to be enough. I had it between him and Kevin Stefanski from the Browns just because the Browns are potentially the 4th team everyone's talking about in the AFC North. But I'm going to go Mike Tomlin out of Pittsburgh. He brings the boys back to a good squad. The defense is still the defense, and I think Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and Najee has a bounce-back season 2. So I expect Mike Tomlin to be Coach of the Year this year when it's all said and done.
I love that Mike Tomlin pick. I mean, I right now have Robert Saleh as well. They have absolutely killed the fucking draft recently with Sauce, Wilson out there, getting A-Rod to come over. I mean, I think they're going to be phenomenal. Hard Knocks, like Luke said, he's winning everybody's hearts over. And then like my other like runner-up secondary is I think Dan Campbell has a good shot again to make Coach of the Year. I know I didn't have the Lions making it. I think they have a good shot at making the playoffs. So, watch them. They barely missed the playoffs last year. I think if they can slide in, then it'd look very good for Dan Campbell. And what other man makes you want to run through a fucking wall?
MCDC, baby.
So MCDC.
MCDC,
Yeah.
that's a fucking man among men.
He got his up downs in too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doc, what you thinking?
Yeah, I like the Saleh pick for Coach of the Year, but I think the expectation of what the Jets are going to be, I think is going to kind of hinder that. When I look at kind of my bracket and where teams finish based on the expectation and their history and things like that, Dan Campbell is the first one that comes to mind. This, especially where I had him in the playoffs. The Lions have historically struggled. I think that there's a lot of opportunity for him to show like, hey, this is a new Detroit team that you're going to see in the years coming. And then I honestly, I picked 2. It's going to be a toss-up. I think it's going to be Dan Campbell, and I'm going to go a little biased here because of my bracket. because we haven't seen it since the Khalil Mack days, but I'm going Matt Eberflus because this team might actually have the pieces aside from one guy changing the landscape of the defense, putting pressure on the quarterback and forcing bad throws. I think a team as a whole, I think that he has a lot of potential to come out and win if the Bears can lock down even second in the division, even a number 5 seed. I think if they come out 12-5, a lot of talk's going to be about Matt Eberflus.
So who is it though? Dan Campbell or Matt Eberflus?
I couldn't choose between the two.
All right, I'll give you both then. We'll let that one slide.
That's the only one I have both on. Or that's the only one I have both on. I couldn't pick, especially because both the NFC North and a runaway division.
Gotcha. No, I mean I understand. That makes sense. Luke, I know you gave it to us on your bold prediction. Who's your comeback player of the year? And this is an award, by the way. It's become an injury-related award, but you should be able to get it for having a bounce back year too. But go ahead, Luke.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm sticking with it from last episode. It's gonna be OBJ. He took all last season off trying to recover, so he's coming back fully healthy. I think he's primed up for a big year with Lamar, and Lamar's going to open up that offense with the new offensive coordinator. So I think the Ravens' offense is going to look completely different. I think there's going to be a little more pass heavy than usual. So I think it's a big opportunity for OBJ to prove he still got it.
Yeah, I mean, I could do the biasy like you and Doc. You know, you both have a Bear and a Raven winning an award. I have my Falcon later down the road, but I'm not going to go Kyle Pitts.
So you are biased.
I do think it should be Derek Carr. I think that balanced the way he played last year, it should go to him. I think he's going to have a pretty good year. He's going to lead the Saints to a 3 seed and a playoff win in my books. But I'm going to go with a team that I think is going to suck, but he's still going to have a phenomenal year. And I'm going to go Cooper Kupp out of the Los Angeles Rams. I think he's going to have a pretty fantastic year. I see him getting around 1,200 yards receiving or so, maybe like 8-10 touchdowns and probably like 90 to 100 catches. I think that's good enough. Even though they don't make the playoffs, give me Cooper Kupp with the Los Angeles Rams.
I'm going easy answer here. Everyone knows it's going to happen.
Yep.
Everyone knows it's going to happen. I'm going DeMar Hamlin.
Yep.
I mean, we all already got that notification that he already just made the 53-man roster. You don't see any other mass notification like that. I mean, what happened to him on the field, very unfortunate. Prayers out to him. I'm glad that everything worked out the way it did work out. But at the same time, like, DeMar Hamlin was not a name on the field that you would know. I know probably a handful of Bills fans probably wouldn't know who DeMar Hamlin was on the field before that incident. And, I mean, great for him to get back on the field. I think it's amazing. But, like, just battling for a second string spot right now. I mean, good for him to make it, but I'll go easy answer.
I mean, he did play a lot last year just because of the Micah Hyde and Poirier injuries. But, yeah, he made the roster, and we'll see.
Yeah, just like Chris said, I mean, if you're going the easy route, if you're going the injury route, I mean, that man won comeback player of the year the moment he walked out of the hospital. That's not even a question. I'm gonna take one out though. I'm gonna take off injuries because there's so many guys that are up for grabs here. Hamlin, Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, Cooper Kupp. I mean, there's so many guys. OBJ. I'm gonna go with one that did not have injury. One that kind of had an interesting year his last season before getting a year-long suspension for gambling on the NFL. I am going Jacksonville wide receiver Calvin Ridley because I think he still has the goods, and I think he has found a good spot to go to with Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to get some deep ball. I think he's going to return to form. I hope he has been working out the whole year that he's been out. But I'm going to go the long shot here, and I'm going to take Calvin Ridley.
It'd be very interesting to see the NFL give him comeback player after suspending.
You think he's?
I think that's the only reason he won't get it. I think he might earn it, but I don't think the NFL will actually give it to him. He looks fucking shredded though. So he looks good.
He looks fast as fuck on the Instagram reels.
Do you think that he's?
I like it.
Do you think he's going to bet on himself to win?
I mean, if he's a smart man, I wouldn't. If I'm him, I'm betting on DeMar Hamlin. I'm going to be honest.
Well, hopefully he's not betting because he'll get another year suspension. So, but no, yeah.
The funny thing that gets me though about the comeback player of the year though is you look like because it's injury related, right? Like where is the cutoff for injury? Because Hamlin got hurt towards the end of the year, didn't he?
I don't.
17.
Yeah, but like
week 17.
His is different because like I like you said, Doc. He won it the day that he woke up. He was moving around. That's when he won comeback player probably of life. comeback of like player of life, whatever, essentially. So you could go that
But
route.
I look at like Lamar Jackson missed the last couple games because his pussy was hurting too much.
He had to use the restroom during the play.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
OBJ missed a large
It's
chunk.
like
I could put
3
some
years
money
ago.
on him, but
Odell missed the whole season, so I mean, yeah, that
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
How much did Cup miss?
Cup missed. He only played 9 games.
I think he missed like
he missed 8 games.
Yeah, so I
But
mean,
it was
I would
like
say
scattered. It was scattered through.
But
the
if you
season.
come back later from
Yeah.
injury, that's more of a comeback because it's a shorter recovery time. And like Adrian Peterson, when he tore his ACL at the end of the Viking season, and he had 2,000 yards, almost 2,000 yards. He had 2,000 yards rushing. He came back in a short time frame and beat the recovery time that he was actually set for. So that is harder to do rather than missing a whole year like Odell did. Not saying
no, I'm
not saying it's bad that
arguing.
Odell.
I mean, I think you should do an injury recovery player of the year or something, or an injury comeback, and then a
you
performance.
should have comeback for injury and most improved because of performance. That's what you should do. But
yes, comeback and most improved. I like that.
Let's move on.
I like that.
Let's move on, Luke. Defensive Rookie of the Year for this year's draft class.
This shouldn't even be a question across the board.
So I'm going to take the layup here. I'm going to go Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama. I think he's going to be a fucking wrecking ball on the Texans defense this year. He's a fucking monster at Alabama. I think he's going to be a monster in the NFL. And it always kind of seems like these defensive ends really get a lot of looks for awards. So I think he pulls it off.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I love the Will Anderson pick. I mean, he's definitely one that I was thinking about. I think he's just in a very bad situation with Houston. And I think their defensive line besides for Will Anderson is trash. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to get the stats that he deserves. I mean, he has looked phenomenal this preseason, but he's also going against 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
So, love the Will Anderson pick. I was also looking at Witherspoon over in Seattle. But I mean, he has a little bit of negativity right now. I mean, some bad reports coming out of camp that he's not looking too good. He also had that contract negotiation that took forever. But I'm going to go another cornerback, though. I'm going Christian Gonzalez out of New England. I mean, the preseason games he's played in, phenomenal. Great reports coming out of camp. So I think he's going to be big. He also has a lot of wide receivers he's going to go against that are number ones. So, I mean, he has a big task. And if he can come out like Sauce, I think this is a lock for him.
I am going corner Chris, and I'm going to mention the guy that you're talking about first. I am going Devin Witherspoon. I think having Woodland out there, a guy that was in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, Sauce beat him out, of course, rightfully so. But having Sauce out there, or having Woodland out there with Witherspoon to take a lot of pressure off him, he might not have a lot of interceptions, but his stats for pass deflections and all that will be phenomenal. I think the passer rating on him and the completion percentage is going to be lower than a lot of the other guys in his class. So I'm going to go Witherspoon out there, the first corner picked in this year's draft out of the Seattle Seahawks, out of his way of Illinois.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with Luke on the layup. Will Anderson is the only one, especially the fact that he is going to be the only talent on that team all year long. I think it's going to be easy. It's going to make it that much easier for him to stand out. It's going to make his numbers look that much better. And the fact that the rest of that defensive line is shit. I mean, they're gonna figure out how to cover and you know how to double team and things like that. But when everybody's coming off the line like a freight train starting up, and then this guy's coming at you like a bullet, I mean, it just kind of throws a lot of people off, and it changes the pace of that the offensive line, the way they move, and the defensive line moving. So I think that as long as Houston continues to shuffle up and keep guys moving and shifting as far as cutting inside and switching the angles of attack, I think it's going to be easy for him to stand. I'm going Will Anderson Jr.
Man's definitely a beast. I don't think we have an issue with that one. Luke, Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of candidates. I know we were talking about it earlier. A lot of names that could win this award for sure.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to stick with the Alabama players here. I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs, Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's going to be that. I think he's going to end up being that every down back for the Lions. He's going to take over, and I think he balled out. And when he was at Georgia Tech, he balled out when he was at Alabama. And I think he's going to continue and show like you can take these young running backs and just give them that first contract and just go get somebody new. I think the Lions just offloaded their big money running backs that are coming up. Not really big money, but more expensive running backs, and
Like who?
got a new guy. He's a little bit cheaper, and I think he's going to fucking show. Like running backs aren't that. Don't overpay for running backs because you just go pick somebody new.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I like Jahmyr Gibbs. He's solid.
Yeah, he's a hell of an athlete. He was a freak in Alabama. I am going to go running back as well, and here is my biasy pick. I'm going probably the best pure athlete in the NFL draft. I'm going Mr. Bijan Robinson out of Atlanta, out of my college, Texas, and I think he is going to be, like you said, Luke, not maybe the every down back, but he's going to be mainly one of the nice, almost every down play guys in Atlanta. I think he can have over 1,500 scrimmage yards, 1,700 scrimmage yards. That's over 1,000 rushing, 500 to 700 receiving. He'll have about 10 to 15 total touchdowns this year. The man's going to be a fantasy freak. He's going to be a freak. He's going to be one of the reasons why we make the playoffs with Algier as well. But give me Bijan Robinson out of Atlanta Falcons.
No, I like both those picks. And I mean, I thought I was going to be an outlier here, but I also picked Jahmyr Gibbs out of Detroit. I mean, I love Bijan, but we just can't ignore the fact that Algier also got a 1,000-yard rusher, and I'd see it being hard them pushing him to the side after he did so phenomenal. And it's very hard to have two running backs have all-purpose yards over 1,000 yards. I mean, I know AK and Mark Ingram did it a couple years during AK's rookie year. So, I mean, hey, it can happen. And, like, I'd love to see it. I mean, I wouldn't love to see it. It's fuck the Falcons. But I think Bijan's going to be great. But I think Gibbs is just, like, he literally doesn't really have any competition in the running back room. He has David Montgomery backing him up. Not saying Montgomery's bad, but I think Gibbs takes over. He's a great scat pack out of Alabama. He was great. And Lions have a great O-line. So I think he's going to ball out. And I got him in Dynasty, so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Montgomery in Dynasty, so fuck Jahmyr Gibbs. I hope he tests positive for PEDs. I'm going to go with Mark on this one. I'm going Bijan Robinson. I think just the natural ability, the cuts, the ability to turn and get upfield. He's an all-around back. I think he's a phenomenal player. I'm taking I don't think it's going to take much for him to knock Algier out. I think that even with Algier having 1,000 yards, I think the natural ability that comes out immediately and the fact that fantasy is already projecting him to have significantly more points than Algier in fantasy kind of is explaining, showing something that maybe we don't know that they're insight to, or, what they're predicting to see. But I'm not saying Algier's not going to get touched. He's not going to get opportunity, but I think that the all-around versatility of Bijan is going to go a long way. And I think that his pure strength is going to help push him across the line for offensive rookie of the year.
Damn. So we have a running back. This show has a running back winning rookie of the year. So
there ain't a fucking quarterback in this offensive in this rookie class that is going to be even in the talks of rookie of the year.
I was thinking Najigba maybe.
Hey, by the way,
I was thinking Najigba maybe can get it, but I'm gonna go Bijan.
I think
Njigba is going to be clouded by Metcalf and Lockett.
And he could be.
I'm not saying he should get more touches, but I think he's going to be a little clouded. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was going to also say, I mean, we popped off all that fucking smoke about how the Falcons put Bijan third in the depth chart, and I was like, that shit doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
He's number one right now in the depth chart.
Oh, I was never worried.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just Arthur Smith teaching the rookie, like, hey, this is what you are right now. You're a rookie. That's just
This is going to be a drafting Chubb and bringing in Kareem Hunt type situation. Algier knows what his role is. He's going to get touches.
Yeah.
It's going to take some away from Bijan, but Bijan is still going to get his, and I think he's going to do more than 1,500 yards all purpose.
We're a running team. Like, that's just the way it is. So both running backs will be used. But I think Bijan's going to have a key role in the passing game.
You have three starting running backs.
Yeah, we do. Luke, lead us off here with the defensive player of the year.
I think so. Hate to say it, but I think TJ Watt's going to be back.
Oh, wait, you said it wrong.
I think he's
TJ Watt. You got to throw that in there, man. You got to throw it in there.
I think he's going to be back, and I think he's going to be wrecking havoc again. I think he stays healthy this entire season, and I think he's just going to lead the fucking Steelers defense, unfortunately,
to the playoffs.
Yeah, I put the Steelers in the playoffs, so I think
I
think they'll make it. Steelers gonna be a good team this year. I'm pretty nervous about it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be good too. Luke, I agree with you on pass rusher, but not TJ Watt. I'm going Micah Parsons. They strictly put him in the pass rusher position. He won't be playing coverage much at all. maybe occasionally he'll sneak out if he has the instincts and the IQ to go out there like a TJ Watt or Nick Bosa when they do that. But I am going Micah Parsons. I think he will lead the NFL in sacks, around 17, 19 sacks for the Cowboys. He'll be a big part of this defense getting in the playoffs. Yes, I know they have Diggs and Gilmore, but Micah Parsons will be the anchor to this defense. Give me Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I have Micah Parsons also. I mean, he played phenomenal. Quinn knows how to line him up. I mean, he lines them up everywhere on that defense to keep the offense guessing, so you never know where Parsons is coming from. With the addition of Gilmore, not having to worry about coverage. I mean, Gilmore and Diggs on the corners. I mean, those are two phenomenal corners. So Parsons doesn't have to worry about that coverage, like you said, Mark. I think he's going to have some high sacks and fumble recoveries over there on the quarterbacks.
Yeah. Doc, what you thinking there?
Yeah, definitely Micah Parsons, just 24 years old. I think 25 and a half sacks in the last 2 seasons. So explosive off the line, coming after the quarterback. The pressure he puts on, he's like a Khalil Mack type player because he doesn't just get to the quarterback, make the sacks. He changes the outcome of the opposing offense. He forces bad throws. He forces quick throws into coverage. He forces not being able to scan the field and quarterbacks panicking and just trying to get the ball out. And that's where that's the type of player that can turn a low turnover producing defense into one of the best in the league, just because being in the right place at the right time, forcing these bad decisions by the quarterback or quick dump offs, quick just throwing the ball away, screen passes, and laying a couple guys in the flat, and now you've got the defense covered.
Heck yeah, 3 Cowboys and a Steeler. You'd love to see it. Luke, lead us off Offensive Player of the Year. This is typically an award that is the best player that's on the offensive side that's not a quarterback. So, Luke, where are you leading us to?
Yeah. So I have not a quarterback. I have the back-to-back Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. I think he gets it done again. He's pretty much unguardable at the wide receiver position. No safety. I mean, no corner is really going to cover this dude at all. He catches everything. Like, you get the ball in his vicinity, he's most likely he's going to catch it. So I like Justin Jefferson. I have him in my redraft league. So
just sucks he's
took him number 1 overall. So
just sucks he's not more talented than George Pickens. That's just a shame.
Yeah,
he is not as talented, but I still think he might edge Pickens out a little bit.
Close race there, yeah.
Yeah, he's also got the cool factor to him. Pickens doesn't. He's not very cool. He's kind of weird.
Can Pickens hit the gritty? Like,
I don't think he can.
Like JJ started a whole fucking trend there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I don't think Pickens wears a grill either, like during games.
No.
He wears that fucking hood and watches his highlights. That's kind of like all he does.
Well, my Dynasty team would fucking love for that because I have him in Dynasty, so I'd love to see that. But I'm going to take another LSU boy, different LSU wide receiver. I'm taking Jamar Chase. I think with just the offensive power that the Bengals have, them having Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, you can't double coverage Jamar. I mean, they're going to attack you literally anywhere. And last year, 9 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards receiving, and only played 12 games. So, if he can play the full 17 games, the man's stats are going to be phenomenal. I think Jamar can run away with it.
Luke, you mentioned a very cool guy, with Justin Jefferson. He is a very cool guy. And that's who I'm going to go. I'm going to go a cool guy myself. And a position that I don't think's ever won this award, at least in recent time, I'm going Travis Kelce out of Kansas City. I think he will lead the league in receptions, be up there with touchdowns as well. He might get 2 of the leg for a Triple Crown. He won't get the yards because tight ends don't normally get that. But he will have high yards, top 10 probably. I'm going Travis Kelce as the main offensive weapon in Kansas City. Give me number 87 out of Kansas City.
He really is. Aside from Mahomes, he really is the only offensive weapon, like what you would actually define as a weapon. He really is the only receiver. He's the new Mark Andrews of Baltimore.
If he doesn't get in fights with his teammates.
He's been better than Mark Andrews before Mark Andrews got to Baltimore as well. He's been in the league a lot longer.
No. I'm not. I'm just saying it like being the number 1 wide receiver as a tight end. But I don't know. This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me, picking the Offensive Player of the Year. I think in the end, though, Jamar Chase is going to get second place to Justin Jefferson. I think I'm going to go Justin Jefferson again. I think that even I think he's got probably one more year before corners and safeties really start to figure him out and learn the moves and be able to provide better coverage on him. But I think he's still going to come out and ball this year. So I'm going Jefferson. I mean, the numbers that he's put up is absolutely unreal. Wide receiver numbers that we haven't even from, I don't even think we've seen that much from Tyreek in his prime. So I think Justin's gonna continue to go a long way for this Minnesota offense and carry them to
the 1 seed.
Apparently that number 1 seed that I said Minnesota.
I think Jefferson beating like the double coverages too is going to help him edge out over Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to be single covered probably most of the time. Justin Jefferson, he's going to get all the looks. He's going to get the best of that defense every single week.
But Chris makes a great point.
Chris will be happy though with whoever wins because they're both LSU Tigers. So Chris will be smiling no matter who wins that award.
No, Chris is a Bengals fan now though.
He's low key yet.
Yeah, well, he makes a great point in the fact that they can't double cover Jamar. So.
He's full on. He got Bengals jerseys in there.
I gotta respect.
I did once own a Bengals jersey. It was Chad Ochocinco. It was Chad Johnson though, but Ochocinco was my Bengals jersey.
I'm not gonna lie. I only put the Ravens in the playoffs to lose to the Bengals just for Luke.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what Doc spent 30 minutes to make that happen.
Probably.
I had to go back and do a lot of finagling.
Luke, though, our last award, the biggest award of the season, it's the quarterback award, of course, the MVP. Which QB do you have winning this year's MVP?
Yeah, I talked about this on the last episode, I think, too. It's going to be my Super Bowl winning team. Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's taking it home. He's got so much talent surrounding him, both a wide receiver, running back, solid defense for them. I think he's going to get it done, and I think he's going to fucking put up crazy stats this year with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk at wide receiver, and Evan Ingram at pretty much a pass catching.
He's my tight end in redraft, so I'm okay. And Calvin Ridley, I got both of them. But no,
hey, seeing T-Law win that,
it would be cool to see. Honestly,
it'd be fun. Yeah,
but Luke, that's a good.
Yeah, I think he lights it up this year.
I think it's a great choice.
Because Blake Bortles definitely couldn't.
He could not.
That's the boat. That's the boat right there.
But
he took him to the AFC Championship.
Well, the defense took him there. He just happened to be on the team, just like Jimmy G with the Niners so many times. But
he still went.
He went. Yeah, he's part of the team. I'll give him that. He had some good games. But Luke, I'm going like you said, a guy that has talent all around him too, and a guy that maybe should have won MVP last year if he didn't miss the last 2 games of the regular season. I'm going the guy that's going to lead them to the Super Bowl. Lose though, Jalen Hurts out of Philadelphia. AJ Brown, DeVonta Smith, they're freak athletes as well, like you said that the Jaguars have. DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny. I think it's a good duo if they stay healthy. And Dallas Goedert is a pretty good tight end himself. So, and they have one of the best offensive lines, probably the best offensive line in football. I'm going Jalen Hurts, fly Philly fly for that award. But once again, the MVP curse comes back. He will lose in the Super Bowl to Mr. Aaron Rodgers. So give me Jalen Hurts MVP.
Oof. I'm gonna come over here again. I'm gonna take MVP and Super Bowl MVP Joe Burrow.
God, I think. Of course. Fucking course.
Hey, fourth season, 4th year in the system. He's playing with probably the best O-line he's had so far in his career.
That's not saying much, though. That's not saying much.
No, it's not saying much. But he did take him to the Super Bowl with probably the worst O-line. So the defense did take a couple hits in the secondary. So I think they're going to be playing high points games, and he's going to be airing the ball out. I think Burrow throws for over 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns. Jesus. Stamp it here first, folks.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think even though I have them exiting the playoffs very, very early, I think I got to go Ravens, Lamar Jackson here. So I'll see you boys at the drug test. I'm just kidding. No, I'm also going with I think with the weapons that they have in Baltimore, I think, or in Cincinnati, I think Joe Burrow is a clear candidate. I think Mahomes is going to be struggling with the targets that he has to throw to. Aaron Rodgers, I like him for it, but I just don't think he's going to produce the numbers that everybody thinks he is. I don't think he's going to be very high yards and touchdowns. I think that the touchdown interception rate will hopefully be outstanding again now that he's not taking on my Bears twice every year. Yeah, I think looking at the guys available and looking at the numbers, Jalen Hurts, I think a lot is lacking on the arm. I think the run is great, but I think he needs some more on the passing side of the ball. I think Joe Burrow is a more all-around quarterback, capable of winning.
Joe's also like technically playing on his contract year. I mean, this is the year
He's gonna fucking ball.
after this year is when contract talks are gonna have to happen.
Yeah,
because I mean he'll have his fifth player option, but like
he needs to get the new highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
if he wins the Super Bowl,
and you know how
he
players
will.
play.
If he wins the Super Bowl, he will get it.
You know how players play on their contract year.
Yeah, ask Joe Flacco.
So
he proved that. You know, he got his fucking mega millions after that. Highest paid QB for a short time.
Yeah, the more I talk about it, I think I'm taking Cincinnati over Kansas City in the playoffs now.
It's too late. It's already
we already have receipts.
It's already there. So
It's already received.
Already received. But hey, that's it. I mean, and I have Rodgers winning the most important award. I had the Super Bowl MVP like Chris said with Joe Burrow, but I have Rodgers doing it. Hey, but that's our predictions for the playoffs.
Christian McCaffrey, Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, that's our playoff predictions, season predictions. We have our awards out there. So we've all put our stamp out there, what we believe is going to happen this year. And with that said, boys, we are fucking 9 days away from the NFL season. Tomorrow, we'll be doing a college episode, getting ready for the week 1. Finally, some decent games we'll talk about. But thanks, guys. Great fucking show, boys. Very happy y'all could come take some time out and come be part of the show.
Thank you.
Great
Mark.
to be here, Mark. Thanks for having us as always.
No, it's
always a good time.
It's our Sack House. And like I said, if you guys are listening out there, also watch on YouTube too. Also subscribe to us, like us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, not Twitter no more, X. Search All About the Balls podcast, and you'll see us there. Just give us a thumbs up, start liking some of our videos we like, if you like it, of course. But hey, it's All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis, Priska Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Nick Doc Skirkwins. This is All About the Balls podcast, and we are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at the Sack House.